This webinar is titled Return of the Gods, Ishtar, the Goddess of Promiscuity, Perversion, and Destruction. Her worship goes back 6,000 years to the year 4000 BC in Samaria under the name Ashtaroth. The names that she's known by are not only Ashtaroth, but also Aphrodite, Venus, Astarte, Inanna, Adonis, and Queen of Heaven, amongst others. Ancient literature like the Bible and other books have abundant references to her. Archaeologists have abundant images from a variety of cultures. And here are just a few of the images that you can find in the architectural findings across various cultures showing Ishtar in her various forms. Her worship had a 4,000-year reign in various cultures. Ancient Israel was frequently confronted by her worship and other nearby people groups, and occasionally would itself fall under her worship. Here's a brief listing of all the details that describe her. Her month was the month of June because it was the month of her spurned lover. Her sign was the rainbow. She was the Queen of Heaven. Her celebration was a parade. Her location was through the central thoroughfare of any major city or locale. Her followers dressed in rainbow garments and scarves. Her environment, there was scant dress, it was sexually provocative, there was simulation of sex acts, and it was pushing the boundaries of normal, inverting and mocking of the normal, and taking out of the private sphere and pushing it into the public sphere. Her environment continued. It was loud and raucous and impulsive. It involved the youth. It celebrated unbridled passion and sexual gratification in any and every kind of sexuality. No pleasure was to be left unmet. Her spells included these: men loving men and women loving women. Also the spell of men dressing and acting as women and women dressing and acting as men. In the length of her celebration, an entire month. All who participated in her festival, the priests and the paraders, would drape their necks with multicolored rainbow scarves. Priests and ministers, singers, and ritual performers were men who took on the appearances of women. They dressed in women's clothes and made up their faces. Around 33 BC, her celebrations and worship began to diminish and disappear. But in the 1960s, it seems she returned to Western culture. Today, almost 2,000 years later, identical parades, festivals, and practices are endorsed by and celebrated by nations around the world, even more than their own national holidays. A blogger looking at Ishtar's history and the celebration and description I've just provided said this: "The description of the festival appears to show the people of the city cross-dressing specifically for the purpose of celebration. Indeed, the whole thing sounds very much like a gay pride parade." This is Cheryl Morang, Evidence for Trans Lives in Sumner. I would have to agree with this blogger. Indeed, the whole thing sounds very much like a gay pride parade. This has been a short overview of the goddess Ishtar. This is Christian Civics Training. Thanks for listening.